What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Derk Harron.
And we are back with yet another comics review for you guys. And this time we are doing one called Glitterbomb. Now, there is an interesting backstory to this one, just like our other comics reviews between Derk and I, because this one is one I actually got the very first issue of, the first printing of, which is actually right here. This is my issue. I picked up that first issue and I read it and I was like, that's cool, but at the time I was real financially strapped and I had to make the cuts. And so I was like, okay, I don't think I think I didn't know that it was only a 4-issue series. Had I known at the time it was only going to be 4 issues, I would have just continued it. Mm-hmm. But luckily, did you read my issue?
Yes, you let me borrow it, and I was hooked.
Yeah,
right away.
So, what got you about it? Or is that part and parcel of the story?
It is partial to
then
the
we'll
story.
get to that. Okay, so tell me when we talk about story why it snags your attention. But Derk read this. He liked the first issue after reading mine, and then he went on to get the rest of the series. And he's like, you should really read the rest of the series. And I was like, okay, fine. And so he loaned it to me, and now I'm upset that I didn't get the rest of the series. So I'll eventually have to fill in that gap because I'm a completist. I have that OCD about me, that comics disorder, obsessive comics disorder, I should say. I should coin that shit. But anyway, I really dug it. I thought it was a quality opening salvo to what's obviously a larger story. Although it's not necessarily meant to be an ongoing, it was a limited series, but at the end it does say to be continued.
Yeah.
So overall, I really enjoyed the series, I gotta say, especially the gore. So, Derk, your overall thoughts?
I loved it. I thought when there was gore, it was just like grotesque.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And once again,
there's creatures.
Yeah, there's creatures. That's what I love. I love creature comics, and so another thing too that's along with the story is that there's like this Hollywood storyline where this actress that's struggling, she's older, and that she was once kind of famous, and
she was like the Uhura on an early version of a Star Trek series,
right?
An analog to it,
and you know, she was kicked off the show, and I don't know. I think that like what really got my attention was that like right in the first comic, you know, you're seeing her like thinking about suicide and like ending her life, and then she actually goes along with it, and it walks out into the ocean to kill herself. And then what she brings back is this creature that's taken her over, and agrees with her that Hollywood is corrupt and feeds on her hatred, and is willing to get some revenge for her.
Yeah, it's a really interesting take on the creature story because she, like you said, she goes out to try and kill herself and comes back with a passenger, and the first thing you actually see is her getting called into her manager's office.
Right.
And this is the very beginning of the book, so this isn't a spoiler. This is just how we rope you in.
This is the first couple pages.
Exactly. So he basically calls her in to say, listen, it's not working out. You're not the right fit for us. We can't represent you anymore. Again, she's like in her mid-30s or something like that. Yeah. She was on a Star Trek-like TV show with a Shatner-like man, and she got unjustly taken away from the TV show. And so she's been struggling ever since. And so now she gets called into her manager's office. He's letting her go, but basically, as he's doing it, this tentacle comes out of her mouth and stabs him like through his mouth and out the back of his head, killing him. And then we flash back to the events leading up to this in the first issue.
Right.
But it grabs your attention right away. You're like, whoa, what is with this? And then we get to the killing herself aspect and how she got the creature aboard, so to speak. And then the other 3 issues are, where does she go from here?
Yeah. Like,
punishing Hollywood, in other words.
Punishing Hollywood the best she can. And
one person at a time to start.
To start, yes. But
yeah,
I don't know. I love the artwork. The creature aspect of it was interesting. I love it how like her face just like literally splits open,
Mm-hmm.
and then like that tentacle comes out. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's okay. Look, and here we go. It's not gonna get us flagged, but she's got a bit of a face vagina. It's kind of how it looks. Like her face opens up this way, and it's like you guys will see. I'll pop it up right here. You'll see what I'm talking about. She's got a face vagina, but it's a very scary face vagina. It's not a face vagina I would ever want to encounter, and that's it's a lot to say coming from a guy. What guy doesn't want to encounter a face vagina? You know what I mean?
Well, if that's your last image, I guess go for it. I don't know.
Okay, please take over. I can't talk anymore right now.
But you hear so much like these horror stories about Hollywood and people taking advantage of
Actresses,
of
young
actresses.
Mhm.
And I thought this was an excellent revenge story.
It was, and it is a sort of revenge wish fulfillment for any jaded actresses that might be watching this, or anyone interested in the point of view of a jaded actress that wants to just get revenge on an unfair Hollywood.
Right.
I mean, it's actually very much in vogue. We just got a news story of an actress, I can't even remember which one, but they also tagged Maggie Gyllenhaal because this actress said that she just was told that she did not get a job because she's a 43-year-old applying to be the husband of a 57-year-old, and she was not given the part because she's too old. 14 years his lesser is still too old. Like, it's crazy how that is working out, and so she's bringing it to everyone's attention. It's like, yeah, that's pretty gross. And Maggie Gyllenhaal was told that at 37 she was too old to be the wife of an early 50s-year-old. Like, it's crazy. So it's interesting to be able to see a story where someone like that gets to sort of enact her revenge. But the question then also arises, how much of her is it?
That's true too. But she's still able to like communicate with her son, and it seems like she's able to like continue her life. But I think towards the end, the creature takes over.
Yeah, I think she loses possibly whatever control she might have had, if she has any control. But that's not to say what happens. It's just to say that it gets intense towards the end.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't want to spoil it for you. But
that last issue, oh my goodness.
It was insane. So I do want to go ahead and give proper credit like we do in the comics reviews. So the story was credited to Jim Zub. And then it was, the line art was, I got myself into some trouble here. It's Jabril Morissette Fan. That's with a silent D at the beginning of it. The colors were done by K. Michael Russell, and the letters were done by Marshall Dillon. So, I think the art was extremely, I thought the art of the people in this was way more consistent and good, frankly, than the people that we got in Hookjaw, which we recently reviewed.
I agree with that.
And everyone looked like them. They didn't all blend together after a fashion, and they weren't distorted faces. So I really liked how they represented her and a younger actress that comes into play, and her manager, and the creature, and her kid, and her kid's babysitter, who actually played a relatively large role as well, as I flipped through. But I just wanted to make sure we gave proper credit, because they did an excellent job with this book. So what do you think of the artwork, moving on to that from the story, Dirk?
I enjoyed it. It did kind of have like that new wave of drawing to it, where they're not so much stylized. It's that crisper look.
I was going to say it almost looks a little cell shaded, but what that meant to me was the crisp outlines and things like that. And yeah, I can kind of see what you're saying, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't know. The artwork was okay. I thought, especially when like the tentacle comes out and like the gore, it looks great. I think the backgrounds were great too. You really got like a feel of like an atmosphere, and especially when like I think that the artist like handled like when there was big groups of people, like especially towards the end. He did that very well.
Big spread pages of chaos.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So,
that was really cool. And actually, I liked the more subtle horror aspects where, death occurs by her. And at one point, she gets covered in blood. And it actually shows her going to the mirror. And the tentacle, the bathroom, the tentacle comes out and like licks everything off of her to clean her up and everything. It's such a trip, and you're just like, oh my god, that's disturbing. But it was a lasting image. Like it stuck with me. That to me is effective artwork.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that there was those moments that it was just like, how is she going to get away with this? And she does.
She does until things happen where it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's so big that I don't think there's any turning back at this point. She's going for broke,
Yeah, there is a point to that, and then there's also like a detective that's like starts putting it together,
right?
Because like
he's riding her pretty hard about well, there's a lot of things that aren't adding up about this, and I'm gonna keep my eye on you.
And then that she's connected to all the kills as well. So
yeah,
I really enjoyed this comic. Well, once again, like after those first couple pages, I was hooked.
Yeah,
I had to find out what was going on, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I wish, knowing, if I had known it was only 4 issues, I definitely would have stuck with it. But at the time, I was real financially strapped, and I was like, I can't invest in a whole nother series. I'll just hang on to my number one. And I'm glad I did, because apparently they had to go to a second print, which this is the second print cover. This is the first print cover. So I have a number one. Now I need to seek out a numbers 2 through 4. So, Derk, if you happen to go out at any point, feel a little bit of pain before you go sleepy time, and then wake up 3 comics less, don't think anything about it, okay? Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
It seems like our horror comic collection is starting to like bash heads a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, yeah, maybe just a little bit. I mean, I don't mind having a couple of bloodstained Glitterbomb issues if I have to. But yeah, you guys, we really dug this one. Make sure you seek it out if you can. I'm sure they're going to release a trade of these 4 issues in the near future if they don't already have plans for it.
Yeah, or maybe they've already released it.
I don't know. It's only a couple of months old, having finished at this point. So it might be coming out like this very month, for all we know.
Yeah.
But check it out. It's called Glitterbomb. If it sounds interesting to you, if you like creatures or you like Hollywood.
There was another thing that I wanted to touch upon.
Please.
In the back issues, there's this writer.
The back of the issues.
In the back of the issues, there's this writer that does these like short essays where she was actually like an production assistant in Hollywood, and she kind of gives like this really great dirt on what goes on in Hollywood, and how like a young woman can be taken advantage of. And man, I think I was more enthralled with like those essays.
Really?
At one point, just especially like kind of like the cliffhanger that leads to like kind of like spilling the beans on like this one actor in particular, and she doesn't give away any names, but like throughout the essays you can kind of put things together. There were certain things that happened behind the scenes that became news. So
wow, okay. Well,
so
yes,
I was able to put it together.
I didn't actually read those the articles, because I didn't realize that was part of it. Comics at the end, they can have all kinds of different things, and I just didn't take a look at those, so now I might have to.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to be in the trade, but you might have to get the singles to get those essays.
Or just hit Derk up, and he'll explain it to each and every one of you individually. So, thank you guys very much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below if you are interested in Glitterbomb, or if this tickled your fancy at all. And while you're down there, click the link in the description box to our TeePublic site, where you can get access to our logo, the horror show logo, our Coexist design, or even a picture of our mascot, Horrific Harry, you can get on apparel or mugs or whatever have you. And Derk, what do you have for the people?
Well, if you want to check out some of my artwork, you can check out dirkart.com.
He does not speak from a place of ignorance. He is a artist in his own right when it comes to these comics reviews.
Where I do commissions and other stuff. I do some comic book stuff as well.
Cool.
So.
Yep. Check it out. I've seen a lot of it. You can make sure and see all of his sketches that were done for the John Carpenter cast because they're all definitely up there at this point. So thanks very much for watching, you guys. I've been Cecil Laird.
Dirk Harron.
And remember,
Stay
stay scared.